Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Emerald Downs Weekly. Every week right here on NBC Sports Northwest, talking thoroughbred racing, horses here from Emerald Downs. Yeah, that's true. And around the country, world, Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. Fellas, we're in the summertime of 2018, and we have a full calendar of things to preview this week.
This
Bill?
is the busy time. This is when it really gets exciting at Emerald Downs. We have events pretty much going on every day, every weekend, big events, and this weekend is going to be a lot of fun. Gary, one of your favorite events is on Saturday night.
Yeah, that would be Ladies' Night.
Ladies' Night, yes.
And we'll have DJ Murray out here. He might come in costume, play a bunch of fun music during the races on Saturday night. Then afterwards, we'll have live music on the 5th floor, Phil.
And ladies get in free.
And there's chocolate and
Wine
wine.
and Chocolate Festival. And the Wine and Chocolate Festival is open for guys as well, couples, whatever. Yep. Come on, enjoy that. But ladies get in free on Saturday night, Ladies' Night here at Emerald Downs.
Fantastic. Yeah, remember our post times now, 6:30 on Friday night, 5 p.m. on Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. That's the schedule this weekend here at Emerald Downs. And, the ladies' night theme, first race 5 o'clock, music afterwards, the Clubhouse Casino open until 2 a.m. 7 days a week. Let's backtrack one night to this coming Friday, July 6th. First race at 6:30, and kind of special events going on Friday night, Gary?
It's our second Brewers Night, and we'll have the brewer from Woodinville, 20 Corners, coming out, and we'll spin the wheel, and we'll make the cost of the beer after each race is going to be between $2 and $4, and we'll have the $1,000 horseshoe toss, which we're getting pretty close.
Close.
Phil.
3 weeks in a row, medal has been hit.
$1,000.
Yes.
You can throw a ringer. We've given out closest to the pin is $100.
Break the glass.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
So that's a fun Friday night. We'll have a DJ playing music between the races, and it'll be a fun night here at the track. I think we'll have some nice weather, right, Phil?
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice all weekend. And then, of course, on Sunday is one of our favorite events of the year coming up. Mm-hmm. It's the Little Dogs, the Wiener Dogs, and the Wiener Wannabe races, post time at 2. It's so much fun for the whole family. And a Wiener Wannabe, basically, any dog that could fit in the box that's not a dachshund can run in the Wannabe races. We added that a couple of years ago. So we got the Dachshunds and then the Wannabes. We're expecting about 32 of each. So we'll have plenty of heats during the day, leading to the championship Wiener Dog race and the championship Wannabe race later on in the day. And yes, those will run in between our horse races, and it's a lot of fun. And sometimes they run, and sometimes they just go off to the side.
Yeah, body language on that one dog we saw just 30 seconds ago, a little sleepy. I'm going to predict he didn't win. But 32 Wiener Dogs and 32 Wannabes, so that's 64. So that means each one of those dogs has a support group of about 100, because we have a huge crowd on those days.
We sure do. And, Joe, do you have any dogs you want to bring out for the big race?
No, I don't have a dog. My neighbors have some nice guard dogs that like me, so I'm dogless right now.
All right.
Is that a good answer?
That is.
You know, and
Phil has a couple of fast dogs.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're not eligible. We have our employee races during the week to practice, and they'll be coming down for that. And next week on the show, we'll show some video from that.
Last year, you guys ran as a Colt Exacta.
That's right. Foxy and Rosie finishing 1-2.
Foxy and Rosie.
But I hear there's more competition this year for our little
I hope so. Yeah.
employee race that we have out here. So.
The Wiener Dogs this Sunday at Emerald Downs. More happening as well on the track. We'll talk about our feature race a little bit later in the show on Sunday. But 7 races coming up on Friday night. A good field of fillies and mares in the feature race Friday night. And, we were going over the weekend here at Emerald Downs. And then there's more coming up as well this weekend, Saturday. Again, racing starts at 5 now on Saturdays. But at 8 a.m., our first edition of Breakfast at the Wire. 5th year of Breakfast at the Wire. Vicki Potter of our group sales department and a horse owner. She worked the concept by visiting other tracks, and of course Clocker's Corner, very famous at Santa Anita, but it's worked out really well. It's 8 to 10 a.m. It's free to attend. Come in through the paddock gate, head up to the track apron, take a right. It's near the wire, and there's breakfast there, several breakfast options, and Dean Mazuka hosts.
He's really good at doing that,
he
too.
is. He's
and
fantastic.
breakfast is, what, $7? You got a choice of a couple of different breakfasts, so it's a great way to come out. Bring the kids. Families are welcome. And then after Breakfast at the Wire, they have like a mini tour of something here at the track from 10 to 11, and then a tour of the stables from 11 to 12. So you can really make a nice morning of it and learn a lot about horse racing in Emerald Downs.
Breakfast at the Wire every Saturday in July and August, 8 to 10 a.m. Again, free to attend. Enjoy breakfast. Bring the family. You watch the horses train on the track just 50, 70 feet from you, and Dean has a lot of guests, and including in a little more than a week, he's going to have the winningest female jockey of all time at Breakfast at the Wire. One Julie Crone will be here at Emerald Downs. And just reading a little bit about Julie, there's a lot to know about her, like, leading all-time female jockey. But she's only one of 8. Yeah, she's only one of 8 jockeys that have ever made the cover of SI.
I know.
Cool.
And I remember living in New York back in those days, and
and
she was amazing. She was like the first prominent female jockey. There had been others that have done well, but she really took the big stage and won some big races, including the Belmont Stakes.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
1993. And a couple other things about Julie. Amazing. 1987, she won 321 races. 88, she won 363. And in 89, 368.
That's a good total, by the way.
Yeah, so 1 year she almost had 2,000 mounts.
Yeah,
pretty
and
impressive.
First female jockey to win a Triple Crown race, Colonial Affair. First female jockey to win a Breeders' Cup race as well. And the first woman jockey to make the National Racing Hall of Fame. She is an accomplished gal, and she's full of personality, too. You've had her, you've seen her in person, Phil.
Yeah, a couple years ago. It was a lot of fun, so come on out and see her that weekend. It's going to be a great time.
Julie Crone, July 14th and 15th, and starts it off at Breakfast at the Wire. Okay, we're just getting underway here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Yeah, Julie's here for the Food Truck Fest. I can't.
know.
That's one of my favorite events.
She can eat now.
Gary, you need to get a dog.
A dog?
You got to get a dog. Both of you guys.
A quick dog.
I love doggies. Emerald Downs Weekly continues from Emerald Downs. And again, looking forward to another festive weekend. Great racing, promotions as well. Fun for the entire family here at Emerald Downs. And by the way, our show is on. If you just happen to catch us at random, we have some loyal followers. We're on at 11 p.m. on Thursday nights and also 9 a.m. on Friday mornings. Emerald Downs Weekly, NBC Sports Northwest.
Also, Joe, we're on YouTube. Emerald Downs YouTube.
Very good.
Within, by the weekend, the shows are all up, so it's a fun place also on your computer. You can sit back and watch the hour show.
Thank you for that. Gary Doherty, promotions manager. Hey, Gary also follows racing, and so does Phil. And 90-year-old trainer Bob Meeking. He didn't win the nonagenarian trainer race, but he's having a great season. And his mare, Will Not, won her 3rd straight race on Friday night. She even won a mile for the first time. I think there was a few that doubted. Not that many because she was favored, but here she is winning easily. Friday night, race number 1, 3 in a row for Will Not for Bob Meeking. And Meeking's having an outstanding season, Gary.
Yeah, he's tied for 9th number overall wins by trainers with, he's now won 7 this season. Fantastic. It's not even this early July. He's already got 7 wins. Neat to see that.
And a strong percentage. And, of course, Phil had a nice concept there. We've had a lot of trainers, 80-year-olds and up, and even a few 90-year-olds and up. And Arturo Arboleda won the Old Timers race. And he also scored last weekend.
He also won a race, and it was his 4th win of the season. He had 10 wins last year. And as we've mentioned, last year was his best year ever as a trainer at age 93. And this year he's at age 94. And I heard him actually talking to somebody earlier in the season where he was planning for 2 or 3 years from now for some yearlings and buying horses and stuff like that. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, also on Friday night at Emerald Downs, Old Timers Vision. He started as a 2-year-old, winning here multiple times. He now is a bit of an old-timer. He's an 8-year-old now. but he had the lead, and Gary Wales repelled all challenges. Pulling away again, jockey Gary Wales aboard for trainer Jeff Metz. Old Timers Vision has now won 2 races here at Emerald Downs in 5 different seasons. That is some outstanding longevity at an accomplished level, and he paid pretty well on Friday night. He beat Longshot Royal Tail there.
Yeah, big long shot. And 142 and 2 is a good time for a mile and 16th.
Yeah, so he's raced in 6 different seasons. 5 of those seasons, including his 2-year-old year, he has won multiple races. And Jeff Metz has our leading barn. What's he at right now? 25 wins, it looks like, Gary. You've got the stats, man.
Yep. He's got a 25 for 86. He won 9 races in the month of June. Top trainer was Frank Lucarelli. He won 13. And Blaine Wright, our pick,
That's right.
he won 10 races in June. We're trying to pick the leading trainer. Me and Phil each picked Mr. Blaine Wright. And Joe, you chose
When's Daytona Beach going to run again? I need Daytona Beach out
Howard
there.
Belvoir.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Daytona Beach.
And you keep reminding
crazy.
him of that pick, don't you?
it's okay. I've been wrong before. I was wrong once or twice last Sunday. Okay. Well, so some exciting racing on Friday night. And again, Friday nights at 6:30, the $1,000 horseshoe toss, beverage specials, and this Friday, a Brewers night with 20 corners involved. So look for action to start at 6:30 at Emerald Downs. So Saturday, again, we're going to have 8 races at the track and then ladies' night afterwards, and always live music on the 5th floor after racing on Saturday nights. We had a great crowd last Saturday.
Yes, we sure did. We had bands from the 70s and 80s, Foreigner and Def Leppard tribute bands, and Phil even came up and saw the crowd, and he thought they were real good.
Yes, I watched a bit of the Foreigner tribute band. And
Foreigner
Foreigner.
or Foreigner. We have a
It's-
different pronunciation
It's
of
my New
Foreigner.
York accent a little
Okay,
bit
fine.
sneaking in here. But Foreigner,
There's a correction. I'm going to correct Gary for correcting you on that one.
Oh.
Go ahead.
where's your accent from?
East Renton.
Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't mention that Gary Wales won a race. Gary Wales is of Scottish descent.
Yeah.
Very much
Right? And
Why
he
could-
won a race on Scottish night last weekend. Mm-hmm. There was a connection there.
There is. I mean, we had Scottish night and Irish day, and Gary Wales. How come he isn't just from around the corner from Wales? But
Edinburgh.
He is. He pulled out his accent a little bit in
He
the winter
did.
circuit. He's got one.
Yes.
He can work it.
Yeah.
He had an
So,
excellent
hey,
week.
Our music this Saturday is
Yeah.
Journey and Excess.
Tributes
Bands,
to.
tribute bands, yeah.
Yeah.
In Excess and Journey.
There, that was a little better the second time. In excess.
In Excess. This Saturday, about 9 p.m., right after the 8th race on the 5th floor. Come on up. Have a good time. We have some food and some drinks, and it's always a fun little dancing. And we got a camera now, Phil, we put up that shows the band stage anywhere on the 5th floor. You can kind of check out what's going on.
And we might get that up on Facebook Live or doing something. But there's one thing you guys may not even know about on Saturday night, ladies' night. We are planning on having a special race out on the track, the 2nd annual T-Rex race.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I can't even describe it other
No.
than these guys from a local company dress as T-Rexes, and they come out and we let them race on the track. So
It's a big field too.
it's wild.
Yeah.
Full field.
Yeah.
The kids might have to hide behind their mom and dads on that one, but are they like mascots as well? So I don't know. Either way, we have a lot of fun night racing at Emerald Downs, and T-Rexes return this year. And Gary Doherty provides some excellent statistical information in our program and has for several years. The trainer and jockey betting rank number is of interest, and Gary, once again, it's a combination of winning percentage and then the win payoff. So it's
Right.
not necessarily Rocco Bowen on top, even though he wins the most races. But tell us what you have so far this year.
Okay, through last week, leading the jockeys is Ann Seguinetti. She's been way out front with a big number, around 150, which is a fantastic number. And ranked number 2 is S1 Flores. He's in the 90 range, is very good. Kevin Orozco is 3rd. Julian Couton's been making a big stride upwards. He's now 4. As Joe was saying, number 5 is Rocco Bowen. Yes, he wins a lot of races, but his horses might be paying $4 or $5. While Ann Seguinetti doesn't win as many races. but she'll pay 10-15 to 1. So
yeah. And she's on pace to have the most 10 to 1 or more winners in track history. And Sanguinetti off to a great start. Lorenzo Lopez is going to be on that list soon. As soon as he gets one more win?
One more win.
He's brought in some prices. Okay, we're getting going here on Emerald Downs Weekly. More to come. We'll announce last week's trivia winner coming up and have a new question. I know we get a lot of responses for that, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. I mean, that took me a half hour last week to go through that.
Is that right?
This week there was actually an answer,
That's
right?
because my computer's real slow.
There was actually an answer.
There was an answer.
Oh, yeah.
Last week there was no answer.
Made it kind of tough,
Well, that's
right?
because I had a bad question.
The answer was nothing.
You gave me
Yeah.
Joe will give you a mulligan.
duly
Yeah, it's a mulligan.
credit for that bad question. I lost sleep over that. Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. We're approaching the halfway point, of the 2018 season. Lots of great racing and, of course, promotions. We talked about some of those, and if you missed that, maybe we'll cover that a little bit toward the end. But let's go to Sunday. It was a great day at Emerald Downs. Beautiful weather. Irish Day, and, of course, that was started by Murdoch McPherson. We had an Irish Day race back in 1996. Runaway Stevie won that, one of Washington's all-time great fillies or mares. And then the next year, really the full-blown Irish Day started. Murdoch, of course, one of the state's all-time prominent breeders and owners, and, of course, an investor here at Emerald Downs. And his daughters, Mimi and Bridget, were out, along with John Keane and so many Irish clubs on Sunday. It was a really nice afternoon and an exciting stakes race as well. But before that, we had two-year-old racing going on, a couple of two-year-old races, and the Colton Gelding race was quite exciting. First-time starter My Grandpa was post number 1, and Fuzzy Dolphin in his second career start, number 2. The Gray, Son of Harbor the Gold, has the lead coming down the stretch, but My Grandpa, a first-time starter, makes this move, and Gary, you don't see that much passing going on in the last 16th or 8th in these two-year-old races, but you did on Sunday.
Very true. Yes, that was very impressive. Winner trained by Tom Wenzel, and he's had a slew of firsters here in 23 years. One of the better trainers with first-time starters, and that one's owned by Mr. Ron Crockett.
Yes, and Ron's granddaughter was there watching the race with him, and the horse appropriately named My Grandpa. So immediately after the race, everybody wanted to know if his granddaughter had helped name that horse, which wasn't the case, but it just seemed appropriate that My Grandpa would win that race with his granddaughter watching.
That's great, yeah. And then also last week, Ron had a first-time starter, Lobanus, run.
That's true.
Named for Lauren, John, and Sadie.
All the grandkids.
Three grandkids. So, and that horse ran quite well, as a matter of fact. But My Grandpa won, and that was a maiden special weight, so we could certainly see him in stakes races coming up, as well as Fuzzy Dolphin, who had a really good race as well. Those were the two favorites in the race. So some promising juveniles there. And then race number 7 at Emerald Downs, we went a mile. Outstanding field. Wine at 9 was coming in, winning 9 of 18 here. Since Dean Mazuka had purchased him privately for the 2 putts for the Wynn stable, including Claimer of the Meet last year, Wine at 9. He was in there. It was a strong field, and let's bring them home here in race number 7. But Mike Mann's Gold, he had one of those races again, which we have seen so many times before.
Yeah, he shot out of the gate, Joe, and made a big lead early and just kept on going. 45-3, 110 flat.
Yeah.
122 and 3 for 7/8, and he finished winning by about 7 lengths, and the final time was a snappy 135-1.
You bet. And there is
Kara
Rocco
Toy in
Bowen
there. Yep.
aboard for trainer Joe Toy. Was Kara in that winner's circle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But there's Mike Mann's Gold, and he was tremendous last year. He is a double route stakes winner here at Emerald Downs, so no surprise he could get a mile. But he's age 8 now, and he hadn't had a win yet this year, but he's back, baby.
18 career wins here now. Just 3 behind West Seattle Boy.
Yeah.
If I gave you odds of 2 to 1, Phil, do you think he can win 3 more in the next couple of years?
Yeah, because he'll probably race until he's, what's the limit here, 11 or 12?
12 now.
He'll probably go that long.
That was Carrie Toy in the winner's circle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Joe's wife.
No correction here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to bring that up because you got a lot of our younger guys excited that Kara was here.
Kara's
you know.
back in Kentucky.
Yeah.
She
So
is.
Mike Mann's Gold by Liberty Gold out of Shadoodle, bred by Keith Swaggerty, Swag Stables, raced by him for a while. He's been claimed, now owned by Greg and Chuck Conley and the Terra Firma Farm. One of the track's really all-time greats, 18 wins now. As Gary mentioned, second all-time, West Seattle boy 21, Mike Mann's Gold 18, Buddy Dave Olympic Lights at 17 for just most wins here at the track. And then the 8th race, real outstanding field of fillies and mares also going a mile here at Emerald Downs. And there were several chances to win here in the stretch. Grace Bay had the lead, challenged by Gazing in the yellow cap in the middle there. Also in the heart of it was My Heart Goes On down on the rail. But look at this horse on the outside at 26-1, Jerry to Carry, getting up to win at the end. What a ride by Lionel Camacho Flores for trainer Kay Cooper. And people know that horse. She rattled off 3-4 straight wins to start last year.
She was only 6-1 in the morning line. And it's, you could watch racing every day. From tracks coast to coast, you don't see too many 6-1 shots go off at 26-1 like that. She got completely dismissed in the wagering, and she's a good horse, like you said, great record, and no surprise. The big surprise was when you look up and saw the price.
That's right. Jerry to Carry, 5-year-old Kentucky-bred mare. Great effort for her. Her first win this year. She'd been running well, however, and let go at that high odds because she hadn't won around 2 turns. But limited tries. And we don't usually talk about, unplaced horses, but Dazzlin' Dawn, who was 7 for 7 in Canada last year. I think you guys saw her win in person on a trip up there. She got a real wide trip into the first turn and just didn't look like it was setting up well for her, and she didn't run all that well.
Look for her coming back.
Okay.
She likes to be on the lead. She didn't get out. She was wide. If she breaks well next time, look out.
Okay, and Irish Day at the track was outstanding. We had the Irish dancers, the Seattle Irish Dance Company was here. The band was outstanding as well.
Yeah, Jeffrey Castle's band came out with a Celtic Night, and they played all day, Phil, between 9 races, and people really enjoyed it. And we had the Seattle Irish Dancers come out for 3 appearances, and they were great.
Yeah, they were.
I opted not to go out and dance with the 2. I thought that might not look good. I haven't really been dancing in a while, Phil, so
that was a good move on your part, I think. That was a great move. That was one of your best decisions.
And we gave away a trip to
Dublin, courtesy of Aer Lingus. Yeah. And there is our winner, Kelly Benson from Gig Harbor.
You could hear her name. You could hear her glee all around the track when her name was announced.
Her whole family was there. I think her aunt's birthday that they were here for, or something like that. And her whole family was cheering and yelling. So a lot of fun. She'll be going to Ireland.
It's a great trip, courtesy of Aer Lingus. We'll show the Irish Day Stakes when we come back. Stay with us right here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
That was on our bucket list.
Have you been to Ireland?
I asked her if I could come with her, and so haven't been there. I'm not going either.
You're not eligible to get a passport, are you?
Ooh, I think yeah.
Another off-the-wall proposal by Doherty.
I think.
Can I go with you?
Well, she mentioned she had a husband, so
that hurt your chances.
Abstained on that, asking if I could go. Be a fun trip.
Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, Phil Ziegler here. Thanks for joining us. We're going to have our trivia question upcoming, but we talked a lot about Irish Day. Just another fantastic Irish Day at Emerald Downs. And, of course, the feature race since the 90s has been the Irish Day Stakes. 3-year-old fillies, this time at a mile and a 16th. And Diamonds Are on the inside there, slipped through at the top of the stretch to challenge Bella Mia, the odds-on favorite. Princess of the Nile finishing on in 3rd. We come down to the line, and we had an upset winner in the Irish Day. Lionel Camacho Flores, an outstanding ride. That filly there was 4th against the boys in the Gottstein last year at a mile and a 16th. So Tom Wenzel stated afterwards, after a couple of 4th place finishes in previous 3-year-old filly stakes at this meeting, both sprints. He said, you don't know for sure until you try them,
Right.
and she ran very well. Gary, comment on that?
Yeah, well,
Diamonds are?
Mr. Tom Wenzel now has won that race 4 times.
Yeah,
so
the most of any trainer.
Going 2 turns, he won with the top quality last year, so that's back-to-back wins in the race, and also a couple for the old
Blaine
Northwest
Wright had
Farms.
top quality.
Did he?
Correction. Dang it.
Top
Should have
quality?
saved that for the correction
Exclusive
segment.
Diva and Exclusive Noise also were 2 winners.
Yeah,
Top quality was trained by Blaine Wright?
pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's
about
look that one up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Diamonds are owned by George Tadaro, and he was celebrating his 81st birthday, so a pretty nice birthday
Yeah,
present.
super.
He has been such a prominent member of the thoroughbred community on the West Coast. Of course, a renowned doctor and medical researcher. He's been in Seattle. He's a native of New York, Phil.
He was at
and-
the opera.
Yeah, okay, that's right. He
Yes.
was.
Wife, right?
Yes, they were
Yeah.
away out of town on some weekend where there's a bunch of operas you go to or something. I didn't get the details, but he was sitting in the opera when his horse was winning a stakes race. So congratulations. That would have been a nice surprise when you get out of the opera
boy.
and see that your horse won.
Yeah, first time going a route this year. She was 13-1. Bella Mia, another strong effort. She was second. Princess of the Nile finished on nicely for third in there. And, yeah, that was the Irish Day Stakes here at Emerald Downs. Well, we had a visitor, a noted visitor to Emerald Downs. He's young, but he's very well known in the Washington racing industry because of his outstanding work at his main job. But he also met so many people, from fans to track employees to horsemen, visitors, and that would be one Matt Dinnerman. And you're the one that signed him on the bottom line to get him to be track announcer here a few years ago.
He was. I can't really take credit for this because Sophia McKee, who was here, who was in charge of marketing at the time, kind of found Matt, and the rest is history.
We caught up with Matt in the paddock last weekend.
With a burger?
So in the fall, I got an opportunity to be the track announcer at Golden Gate Fields as well as the paddock analyst. So I do the paddock analysis from the booth, but that's what I've been doing. I miss Emerald Downs, I miss the people, but it's a great opportunity down south in my home state. So I'm really excited about the future. When you have a passion for something like I do, it's very easy to do what you love, and it's easy to come to work every day, wake up and be happy that you're doing something that you love. I think your announcing always evolves, and Robert Geller taught me, there's always something to work on, and we're our own worst critics. So while you go along and you get more experience, you see more scenarios develop in a race, you learn more phrases, you get older, your dictionary expands, so to speak. So watching races, the more and more you do it, the better you get at it. So I've been announcing for 3.5 years or so, and I continue to try to get better each and every day. And I've seen improvement from the end of Emerald to the end of this Golden Gate Fields meet in the springtime. So I think it evolves absolutely. Oh, my plan is to be up here, take a yearly trip, and maybe take a step in the announcer's booth and have some nostalgia.
And Matt did call a couple
Yeah.
races. It sounded very comfortable for him doing that.
Very quickly, I think we broke a record Saturday in the first 4 races. We had 3 different announcers because Dean Mazuka, it was his birthday, so he called a race. He's our backup announcer.
Yep.
Tom Harris, of course, called a race, and Matt Dinnerman called a race. So people were looking like, what's going on? They wanted you to call a race, Joe. You were
Also
next
in
up.
attendance, Saturday was Jason Beam, Joe Withy, and Vince Brune, who have also called races here at Emerald Downs.
Wow.
That might be a record for
Yeah,
one
it was.
track on one day.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about owner's silks last week a little bit, and we're going to do that a little bit more. Hey, you can design your silks, and the track has a right to, make some input there if they happen to be out of line, but that does hardly ever happen. Jan Bays, our horseman's bookkeeper, has a side job making silks. Let's hear from her.
I take the orders. I make sure he's got the graphics correct. I press the silks after he prints them. And then sometimes I cut them out and sew. Sometimes I give them to one of my gals and they do the sewing. Depends on how busy we are with other things. If they're nylon silks, Vern does he'll embroider if they want their logo embroidered. He embroiders it or appliques it onto the back of the nylon silks. So he does all of our embroidery. We have to get a design. We do the graphics on the computer. We use CorelDRAW or Photoshop. And then we have to print them on special paper. And then we have special fabric, and we press the paper into the fabric. So it's called dye sublimation, and it actually, the color gases into the fabric. And then we cut them out and sew them. We can send them a proof, and then they can make their changes. Colors are, if they're nylon, the fabric's the fabric. That's all we can do. But with the aerodynamic, it's CYMK. So I have a swatch with many colors on it, but you can change those colors even more. So some people tell me they want a burgundy and a gray, which is what we're kind of working on right now. And so we print all different colors of gray and burgundy, and then I'll mail it to them on the fabric that we're going to make the silk. So they're just little squares that they can pick their color.
Thanks to Jan Bays, dealing with owners, making silks that the owners are proud of out there on the racetrack. And a little bit more on specific owner silks coming up. Hey, last week's trivia, the question was, name the jockey with the most consecutive Emerald Downs riding titles. And there were 4 possible answers.
Yeah, it's a tie.
2 straight is all we've had here. Galen Mitchell, Kevin Radke, Ricky Frazier twice, and Rocco Bowen have won consecutive riding titles. Rocco could, of course, become the first to get to 3. And Christy Kay got the right answer. Congratulations, Christy. You've won a box for 4 at Emerald Downs, and we'll be in touch on that with parking and admission as well. Christine Kay won that. And this week's trivia question, which horse has the highest single season earnings in Emerald Downs history? As we head into the big races, the mile might have something to do with that, wouldn't you think?
That's a hint.
Yes.
Okay, that's this week's question. Send your answers to trivia@emeralddowns.com. We'll be right back here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Emerald Downs Weekly, NBC Sports Northwest, 11 p.m. Thursday night, 9 a.m. Friday morning. Thanks for joining us, and send those answers to trivia@emeralddowns.com. And, hey, more on silks. Hey, your imagination, just work with Jan Bays. She'll make them. You design them, colors, whatever logo you want. And let's go to some more prominent Emerald Downs owners and find out how they came up with their silks.
Well, I always liked the color red, so that explains why the silks are red. We have red and silver with red dice on the back, 3 dots on one dice, 4 dots on the other dice. The red, obviously, is because you can see it. The silver, we like to go to Nevada when we were first together, and so we kind of decided on the silver because Nevada is the silver state. The dice on the back with the 7 dots, well, Carol and I got married on July 7th, 1982. It was not our first marriage for either of us, so we decided it was kind of a crapshoot. So that's why the dice ended up on the back. The dice on the back with 7 dots, that was Carol's idea. So we've been together 36 years, so I guess it's worked out pretty well.
Well, there's 8 brothers, and that's where I came up with it. It was 8 brothers, So, and I just came up with the 8 ball and 8 green and black, and green is my favorite color, so, yeah.
Well, of course, when we were first starting out, we were wanting to think of a name, and when your last name is Pabst, the obvious thing is Blue Ribbon, and so we named our farm Blue Ribbon Farm, and then the silks just followed from there. You take a look at the logo for PBR, and adjusted it some, put some hoops on the sleeves for visibility, and so it's a royal blue with the ribbon on the back and front and hoops on the sleeves. And that's how we did it.
Well, we wanted something with name recognition, so actually Griffin is a mythological creature. It's got the wings and head of an eagle and the body of a lion, and it's on the heraldic flags and has lots of history. So we thought maybe people would associate the Griffin with the Griffins. And then when we went to Hong Kong one year, we found out that a Griffin is a maiden horse in Hong Kong, so that was kind of cool to know too. So that's how it came. The color, I don't know, Griffith green, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure when they originated, but I'm pretty sure they were made before my wife was born, and maybe before Jim, because his grandfather was in horse racing back then, way back then, and so I think they had those silks back then. I wore them a lot. I rode for Jim Penny for 25 years, and then my son, Jeff Cooper, he also rode in those silks for 4 years, and we've won a lot of races in those silks.
Well, I'd like it to be a little more, maybe a little more interesting, but I was in the racing business many years ago and took about 30 years off, and when I came back a few years ago, I decided it was time to get new silks, and mainly the inspiration was I wanted them to be seen, easy to pick out on the racetrack, so that bright yellow with the nice bright orange hoops around the body, very easy to see. I don't have a hard time picking out my horses out of a field, so that's as unromantic as it might be, that's the best I can do for you, but I do like the silks, and we've had real good luck with them, so hopefully that'll continue.
Well, you know, Joe, I wanted to go with the classic diamonds, and I went with the Seahawk colors, as you could tell, the lime and the green. And then I put my Muddy Water Stables initials on the sleeves, MWS, and it just fit home, and I wanted to bring a little bit of Seattle around the country, and that's where the colors came from.
I was actually my high school logo in Payette, Idaho, so I always thought it'd be pretty good, so I just adopted it. Same colors, everything's the same. It's still, in Payette, still the same.
I started a company in '96. It was called Freight Taxi, a local freight company. And I was following the colors of a taxi cab. And that's where I got the colors and the checkers, and I put it together, and they turned out okay.
Well, the silks were designed basically after the Long Acres Doodah guy. We went with the yellow and green silks, and we have the Doodah guy who is familiar at Long Acres Racetrack on the outside. I think the guy's name was Chuck Perry, which was the Doodah guy, was a former rider, and I like the yellow and green silks just because Long Acres reminded me of yellow and green. And no, I'm not an Oregon Duck fan, but I do like the yellow and green, and Jan Bays put together a sample silks for us about 2 years ago, and I own 3 pairs of those, and they really look good in the winter circle, Joe.
They date back to, you know, when I first got my trainer's license at Suffolk Downs in 74, 75, and I had a couple of horses, and we just wanted to get some silks for them, and we were sitting around and decided that we'd do the environmental thing. You know, it was a big deal back then, and still is, but you know. So we did the sky, the earth, and the sun, and they've been with us ever since, so there we go.
I went through a couple designs. I was thinking purple, red. I like geometric shapes and abstract shapes. I don't know. And then I ended up with the blue, with the yellow, and Erica Nordine actually did the picture of the one horse. That's her abstract picture. There's nothing better than seeing if you have 2 horses in the race and 2 jockeys coming out and 2 pairs of your silks. So there you go.
Back in about the 80s is when I first got my idea for my silks, and I wanted a bright color so I could see them from a distance. And then at about that time I watched a movie called Far Lap. And so Far Lap was a great racehorse, and so I patterned it after his pattern, but different colors. They've done wonderful. We've won lots of stakes with horses we didn't spend a lot of money on, a lot of stakes placings. I'm really happy with my silks.
So Jacob and I, the Polowitz family here, we both love the mountains. We got married up in Winthrop, Washington 2 years ago, so nice inspiration there. And then of course, my husband Jacob is a giant Manchester City fan, blue and white. I happen to love blue as well, so it worked out pretty well. They came together and did the design myself, but solicited my husband for some feedback, and this is what we ended up with.
Emerald Downs Weekly, having some fun, getting ready for another weekend of racing at Emerald Downs, 6:30 Friday night, 5 p.m. Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. Wiener Dog Day on Sunday. Also, our feature race, the Seattle Slew Stakes. And Washington's been the only state in the country to have run a Seattle Slew Stakes every year continuously, including Seattle Slew's Triple Crown year of 1977 to the present. And we're going to take a look at the great Seattle Slew in action. Sit back and watch this one.
All in again. We wait for that start. And we're up for the lead. Seattle Slew along the inside, then affirmed on the outside. It's Life's Hope. Those three go out on the pace together. Then it's a gap of 6 lengths back, 1 cut above, followed by Exceller, and finally Great Contractor. They move into the turn, a 3-horse team. Seattle Slew along the rail, affirmed on the outside second, and Life's Hope on the extreme outside is third as they move right together on the turn. Then it's a gap of 14 lengths back to 1 cut above, another 6 lengths to Exceller, and the trailer is Great Contractor. They whip through that first quarter in 22 and 3. They move still as a team to the back stretch. Seattle Slew along the rail, affirmed on the outside, and Life's Hope further out in third. Those three are really blazing down the back stretch. Then it's a gap of 20 lengths to 1 cut above. Exceller now moves up to take over that spot. Then the trailer is still Great Contractor. They went a half in 45 and 1. The pace is very fast. Down the backstretch, it's Seattle Slew now 1 length. Affirmed is second by 2, and Life's Hope has now dropped back into third. Then there's a gap of 12 lengths to Exceller, followed by 1 cut above, and finally Great Contractor. 3/4 of a mile went in a very unbelievable 109 and 2. On the turn, still Slew, and he's got it 2.5. Affirmed is picking up a bit of ground on the turn. Then it's a gap of 5, and here comes Exceller. He's got it in gear, and he's flying now at the leader. Further back, 1 cut above. They come for the head of the stretch. Slew still 2.5. Here comes Exceller to the inside. Shoemaker makes his move at Seattle Slew. It is Seattle Slew, Exceller along the inside. Those two heads apart, but it's Exceller who has a head in front at the head of the stretch. They went 1.25 miles in 2:01 and 4, and they're battling it out. Still Slew hanging in there. Exceller has the inside. It's Exceller along the inside. Seattle Slew on the outside. This is a real battle onto the wire, but Exceller gets a narrow lead as they pass the 16th hole. Seattle Slew coming back again. At the finish, this is going to be tight. I see Exceller winning it. It's Seattle Slew second. Great Contractor very far back in third, and what a finish that was.
How about that for a horse race? Seattle Slew, yes, he lost to Exceller, but Mickey Taylor will tell you that was the race that gave them a high stud fee for Seattle Slew, who became one of the greatest breeding influences of all time. 109 and 2, battling off everybody. And did you see Angel Cordero? He was surprised when he saw Exceller coming that quickly on the stretch turn, and then he was coming back on again at the wire. Even though Seattle Slew barely lost any races, he did lose that one. But you can appreciate his effort there, can't you?
I do. I think it was unbelievable. 45, 109 and 2, and he dug into the very end, Phil. He nearly won the race.
That was tremendous.
Most horses would have backed up, get B20, says, not today.
And you know what Charlie Whittingham said all those years after that, the trainer of Exceller, he goes, what's all the fuss? My horse won the race. So he was succinct. But that was Karen and Mickey Taylor's Seattle Slew. They're going to be here to crown the champion of our Seattle Slew Stakes this Sunday at Emerald Downs. They come over so many years, and we're very happy for that, as it's easy to remember the great Seattle Slew. That is the highlight race of the week. 3-year-olds at 1 mile and a 16th. Pretty good list of nominees, including Elliott Bay, who's averaging 52,000 in his races at 1 mile and a 16th because he won the Gottstein last year. So
true.
He gets a chance to go to a distance where he has done well, and several out-of-state nominees also.
We'll also have 2 other championship races that day.
Oh, yes.
Wiener Dog Championship heat and the Wannabe.
And we've got a new and improved starting gate, I hear, Phil.
We're adding some blinkers, right, Phil?
We're making it so the dogs can't run around the back of the box, so we'll see how that works out.
They go straight.
Yes.
Okay. Well, racing again Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday here at Emerald Downs. And Friday night is a Brewers night. Saturday is Ladies night. First race at 5 p.m. and live music afterwards up on the 5th floor. Again, our clubhouse casino open until 2 a.m. 7 days a week. So looking forward to a great weekend here at the track. And corrections for this week's show?
That was one incredible fireworks show this past weekend. Right, Phil?
The only correction is you showed Seattle Slew losing a race.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the fireworks show.
He thought he was valiant in defeat.
He was. That
but
was
he
the
won
greatest,
a lot of races.
That was the greatest losing race in the history of the sport.
Really?
Right there. Yeah.
That's
greatest effort in a loss.
That's Joe Withy's.
Gary said top quality was trained by Tom Wenzel. Gary also said Kara Toy was in the winner's circle. Her mother is Carrie, just one letter different,
Yes.
K-A-R-I.
It's tricky.
And anyway.
But hi to Kara.
I'm not trying to come down on you
in
or
Kentucky.
anything.
Maybe she's watching. That's it.
That's it for Emerald Downs Weekly. We'll see you at the track. Thanks for watching.
Come out and watch the winners.
Actually, I
and
like it when
wannabes.
you make mistakes.
It doesn't happen too often.
That's true.
Joe?
Let's celebrate Secretariat losing the Travers next week. Come on.
He never ran in the Travers. Thank you.
Secretariat?
No.
He ran the Marlboro Cup.
Never ran in the Travers.
When did Onion beat him?
In the Whitney.
Whitney. Okay.
Whitney.
All right, another correction.
This is like
Yeah, there's another correction. Throw that in there. The boss.
This is like John White.
Because we don't remember horses that lose.
We done?